Thank you, Rabbi Grunblatt. It is really a pleasure to be here. I think the last time I was in Las Vegas is about 5 years ago, so it's been a while. And I look around and I see the growth that's taken place in our Torah Center, in the community in general, school, institutions. And I think I can appreciate it perhaps better than you can. I kind of recall, I call it the mother versus aunt syndrome. When I was a child, I grew up in Montreal, Canada, but most of our family lived in New York. In the summertime, we used to drive to New York and meet our family. I always dreaded meeting my aunt because when we did, she would look at me and say, "Oh my, how you've grown! You've gotten so big." But my mother never said that. One day she said, "You know, your pants are too short. You must have grown." What's the difference? Because my mother saw me every day, and you don't see the growth. You don't appreciate it because it happens gradually. Aunt saw me once a year, and you see the difference. So you are living through it, and you don't take it for granted. You look around, there's another family, another group, nothing else is happening. I wasn't here until for 5 years. I come and look, it's a radically different scene. And Baruch Hashem, we've seen this wonderful growth. The name of your shul is Avos Torah Center. I thought it's appropriate to talk a little bit about what the Yeshiva's importance, the centrality of Torah. There's a Gemara in Yevamos Daf Koches Amud Beis. And the Gemara quotes the following statement. Tana, we've learned, Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav, Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rav, one of the great Talmudic sages, "My dechsiv," that which is written in the pasuk, "Meimenu b'kesef shasinu," we've drank our water with money, paying for our own water. "Eitzenu b'mechir yavo," our wood we had to purchase at a price. And this pasuk is referring to the time of the destruction of the temple and our enemies that overcome us. And they basically stole our own possessions and forced us to pay to get it back. Imagine how agonizing that is. Throw you out of your house, you want to move back in, you have to pay me off. Your well, your source of water, not a small thing in the Middle East, you want to drink from that well, you got to pay us. Firewood that you chop down from your trees, got to pay us. That's the literal meaning of this pasuk. But what is the figurative application? The Gemara goes on to say that in the time of danger, when the Romans decreed that the study of Torah was to be prohibited, and Rabbi Akiva, the great Torah sage, was arrested for teaching Torah and imprisoned. And they had a difficult question that they needed to ask him, but they couldn't reach him. He was in prison. And it required a bribe of 400 zuzim, a substantial sum of money, to be able to ask that question to Rabbi Akiva in jail. That is meimenu b'kesef shasinu. It's like having to pay for our own water. And my Rebbe, long-time Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Chavetz Chaim for over 60 plus years, asked a profound question. That's not your Torah. That's Rabbi Akiva's Torah. Suppose he wasn't in jail. You still didn't possess that Torah. What if he would have charged you for the answer? So how is it comparable to having your water stolen by your enemy and charge you for its use? And the answer perhaps is self-evident. It's our Torah. Every Jewish person, whether they learn it or not, owns the Torah. It's theirs. Rabbi Akiva's profound wisdom belongs to you. It belongs to each and every one of us. It is ours. And if somebody is withholding it and requiring us to pay for it, that's meimenu b'kesef shasinu. You are charging us money for our own water, to drink from our own well. Torah belongs to each and every one of us. And that is regardless of whether we have studied it or not. However, that's only half the story. It's all very good and well to be wealthy and own a store of Torah. But if you don't access it, what good does it do you? If you have millions of dollars in the bank, but you can't withdraw it, what good does it do you? So really, the ultimate concept is not only to own the Torah, but to study it, to participate in that. And that is the most powerful force that can elevate the Jewish soul. There is nothing that speaks to the Jewish soul more than the actual study of Torah. And there are so many opportunities in your shul and other ways of connecting at all different levels to the study of Torah. There's an interesting mitzvah, commandment that's mentioned in the Torah. If you think about it, it seems as if it's almost devised to obtain a particular result. There's a mitzvah called Meiser Sheni. What is the mitzvah of Meiser Sheni? A farmer has a land, and every second year, the mitzvah applies, he's to take 10% of his produce, whatever his land produces, and he keeps it for himself. He doesn't have to give it away, but he has to consume it in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, where the temple was. So obviously that's a great incentive to travel to Yerushalayim. Not only that, it's a great incentive to stay in Yerushalayim for a while. It takes a while to eat up all that food. Now you do have the option of giving it away. But if you can't stay in Yerushalayim, you'll give it away. But it is certainly a powerful incentive to stay in Yerushalayim. So the question is, why did God devise such a commandment to encourage and to incentivize, if you will, people spending time in Jerusalem? So the pasuk says, this is in the Torah, in Sefer Devarim, Deuteronomy, the 15th parah. Pasuk says, 14th parah. Pasuk says, "Aman tilmad liyira," in order that you shall learn to fear God. If you ask yourself a question, why would visiting Jerusalem inspire a person to fear God? How would it teach him to fear God? I think we would answer, you visited the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, you experienced that uplifting experience. Chazal, our sages, tell us 10 miracles occurred on a nearly daily basis in the temple. Today, people go to Jerusalem, all they see are the ruins and what's left over, and it's inspirational. Imagine what that's all about. The great commentator, the Sephardim, says that's not what it means, because it says L'man Tilma, that you should learn to fear God. He says, you know what's so special about coming to Jerusalem? The greatest Torah scholars of the generation, their headquarters was adjacent to the Holy Temple, and something that was called the Lishkas Hagazes. Lishka is like an office or headquarters that was out of hewn stone that was adjacent to the temple, and they could teach you Torah. Again, Rabbi Leibowitz asked, you could learn Torah in other places too. But these were the greatest. These were the best. You could learn it a little better there. That's what teaches you to fear God. Not the miracles of the temple. That's inspirational. Inspiration wears off. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 3 months later, whatever it is, inspiration wears off. Torah lasts forever. It touches a neshama, it touches a soul, and it really uplifts you and makes you a different person. I found a similar thought in the sage, the Rambam, also talking about standing on the Har Sinai, Mount Sinai, receiving the Torah, and all kinds of miraculous deeds took place. It was the world's history's greatest audio-visual presentation. Why? So Moshe Rabbeinu tells us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God did this, l'nasos eschem. The Hebrew word l'nasos is a difficult word to translate. And there are different opinions amongst the commentators, but the Rambam, as well as others, learned that it means to elevate you. The purpose of this experience on Har Sinai was to elevate you. How would it elevate you? What do you mean? You saw God's presence face to face. What could be more elevating than that? That's not what the Rambam said. He says, God did this to elevate you, Bizos HaTorah HaNifla'ah. With this wondrous Torah, Ki zeh yeh siba shetikablu osa. These miraculous events, the thunder and the lightning and everything that you see, will motivate you to accept the Torah. And he goes on to say that you will study it and follow its ways. So what elevates a person is the study of Torah. What inspires a person to study the Torah? Maybe it's standing at Har Sinai. Maybe it's observing the service in the temple. Maybe it's something else. But in the end of the day, the lasting impact on a Jewish soul is through the study of Torah itself. So, the Abbas Torah Center community is really all about that. It's all about encouraging people to connect with God, to connect with their fellow Jews, but centered around the study of Torah. And I encourage each and every one of us, myself included, to devote ourselves as much as we can. People have all kinds of busy lives, but you can always make time for that which is really, really, and truly important. And the study of Torah fits that bill. We should all find ways and means to connect. And that way, we will experience that uplifting sensation ourselves. And I close with a bracha, with a blessing to all of us, that God should continue to grant us the success that He's given you until now, that you should move from one stage to the next. Mechayil el chayil, as they say, from valorous deeds to even more valorous deeds. The community should grow. The community should be able to build a permanent home. There should be a devotion and dedication to Torah. We should all unite in the service of Hashem, and we should be able to accomplish that which God Himself wants us to accomplish. Each and every one of us has a mission, and each and every one of us should succeed in our mission with the help of God, and we should all be zocheh. We should merit success, hatzlacha in everything that we do. Thank you for having me.